how long have you been like going from shelter to shelter? Did you ever? You lived with your mom at one point. You said like.
Yeah, like most of the time I'd get out and I'd stay with my mom or my grandma, and then see, for years I went back and forth to prison. Every 2-3 months. Like I never stayed out long. And
locally, which prison?
Well, I've been to DVI.
Okay.
I've been to Soledad. I've been to Corcoran. I've been to Lancaster. I've been to Solano. I've been out of state to Arizona. So I've been a few places. But every time I went back to prison, I lost a family member. And when I lost my grandfather, he said something to me that was very important that he had never said and I never thought about. He said, because he was dying of cancer. So I knew when I went in to do my prison term, that was the last time I was going to see him.
Did you get to say goodbye?
I said goodbye, I hugged him, and he never hugged, so I hugged him, and he said, Mark, I want you to promise me you'll try to live your life. Not, Mark, I want you to have a house, a good job, picket fence. He just said, I want you to try to live your life.
What do you think he meant by that?
Well, I thought about it for months, and I realized I was only existing. I wasn't living. I didn't know how to live. And I thought about it for months and months and months. When he said that, I was still running around, with the gang, with the homies or whatever. But when he said that, it really struck me, because my brothers and sisters, they'd be like, Mark, ain't you tired of doing prison time? Don't you care about us? And there was a time I actually believed, said, and meant the homies come first. Like, what the heck? I think about that now, and like,
before yourself, you mean?
Before myself, before my family, like that's what I believed,
What kind of lifestyle was that with the homies?
Man, a whole lot of me believing and applying myself, but not being believed back in and applying myself. Because when I first started, not to get too in depth, when I first started, I'm half Mexican, so.
No shit.
So
would have never guessed that.
The hardest part for me to express to somebody is my Mexican side. So growing up, it was like I had to prove this, and this. So when I started, my mom was like, Mark, please go on white. I'm like, what, Mom? I'm Mexican. Like, I can't change up. Said, please, Neil, go on white.
Was your mom white?
Yeah, my mom's white, but like almost all the baby's daddies are Mexican.
Okay.
I thought about that, and she was worried because the Mexicans had a little more, stabbing rating, fighting.
Yeah, for sure.
So I went in, and I remember
she was talking about when you go to prison. Don't go to the wood pile. Go to the
No, my mom wanted me to go wood pile.
Oh, she did.
She was like, please go on white. I said, Mom, I can't. So I had to prove, And
did you go? Did you go in Mexican?
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
It was rough.
Whoa.
It was rough.
Fuck.
But I remember my first week there.
So you had to extra prove that you were that guy.
Yeah, because a lot of times when I get out and hit the streets, I was using, so I'd get hired. The first month or two, I'd be okay. I'd go out, I'd barbecue, I'd always catch up on all the movies, I'd see my family. But then I'd start using, so when I'd come in, I'd be like a beanpole.
Yeah.
Bleach blonde hair, like, ah. And they'd be like, man, they let anybody be a homie these days.
Was it meth?
Yeah, meth, drinking. But I remember when I went in, I was like, what am I following? What does it mean? So I was like, I went to the back and got educated. You know, it's like, because why would I follow cops? What if it was something like I couldn't follow, you know?
You mean the prison rules?
Yeah, like what is going in Mexican mean? So,
Yeah.
So when I got into it, when I seen the thing I liked about it was education, bettering oneself, no cussing, no sagging.
Really?
Like those were some of the rules and the things.
In prison?
Yeah, but what
I didn't know that.
what I noticed, like everything that starts something good, was it became about money, it became about power, it became about all the other things that.
So it's like a political system.
That something started against, you know.
Mm.
And so when my grandfather said that to me, it really rocked me to the core of my whole world. Because I'd only been existing, but
Yeah.
up until that point, I was 100% dedicated. The moment what my grandfather said rocked me, and I thought about it for 3 or 4 months, I wasn't 100% no more. It was like 70% my heart. So I couldn't, with all due, with knowing that it wasn't 100% my heart, then I became a liability to the ones that I was leading, the ones that was around me.
Oh, yeah.
Not a lot of people think about that.
Okay, so if you're not all in on the gang you're in,
if 3 or 4 of us are there and we get into a predicament, is that 70% of my heart gonna be like, oh damn man, I wanna run this way, or damn, I'm gonna leave.
And now
you
got homies that might get hurt.
So
fuck.
In my heart, I couldn't, and it sounds so like different thing, but that's the way I was. Like I was 100% for it. Whatever happened, but the moment wasn't 100%, then I couldn't, I couldn't move forward, knowing that other people's lives, would be there. So
did you get out of it? Like how?
I stepped aside. I got it, the big homie and all that, but.
How did they let you out? Do you have to earn your way out?
No, if I still go to prison, and I see him, I get boo-bop. But I know that.
Yeah.
But I really thought about it. Like
boo-bop is like lumped up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, out here on the streets, I don't really run amok. I don't do nothing. I don't have no animosity. I don't stir up strife. I don't do none of that. But I've seen a lot of people who it's not 100% in their heart, and they move forward, they ride the wave up until the point that something happens, and then they throw somebody under the bus, or however, so me, I couldn't justify moving forward after my grandfather said that. But since then, I did another prison term, and I did like 3-4 years in the shoe, so I did day for day, and I tried reading the Bible, I tried exercising, I tried bettering myself, but I knew like my success rate of living the prison lifestyle, always watching, over my shoulder, always taking this, always on point, always, like anybody who ever knew me, I'd come out to the streets, I'd have a knife, I'd be like aware of everything. But I'd come out, and that kind of mentality, I'd be right back in.
No.
So
I see. Oh,
so
wow.
going to the next term.
That's almost like drawing yourself back to prison in a way, staying in that mindset. I never thought about that.
To the next term, I worked out tough. Probably the biggest I've ever been, the most healthy I've ever been. I read a lot of books, but I still didn't focus much on how to live. So I got out, I discharged parole, but I had no goals, nowhere to, no direction. And it wasn't about 2 months or maybe 2 years I got off parole, and then I caught another case. But still today, I'm trying to figure out how to live.
Are you still on parole?
No, I'm off parole, probation, and all that.
That's awesome. Congrats, dude. But most people never get off.
Still don't know how to live though. Like,
Like you mean like plug into society?
Living for others is kind of like been my whole motto my whole life. Like, when it comes to doing something for myself, I can't. I sit there. But if I'm moving for somebody else, if I'm, if I'm praying for somebody else, if I'm believing for somebody else, if I'm doing something else, and when I was out running amok, everybody loved that.
Of course.
Shit, man, this guy worked. Man, this guy, they love that.
Yeah, people are takers, man.
But for myself, I can't. And when I ask, sometimes it don't seem like people move as hard. They're like, well, put some effort into it, like,
yeah.
Well, I don't know how to live, man. And so it sounds sobby,
Not really, it's your life.
But
you know what I mean?
I don't see myself, and that's where I go, and I know God has a purpose in my life. I know God has a purpose in my life.